the center of gravity is shifting towards Asia. And that is obvious because those days and even now, in a way, most Asian emerging market economies are growing at above 5% GDP.
And in terms of what we're thinking about from a market and economics point of view, actually, I think one of the biggest implications, again, thinking about Asia as well, is what it could mean for the global trading system.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and it was very great to see the collaboration between the Asset and the Deutsche Bank on this wonderful event. And I always think these kind of events portrays and helps, I would say, the buy side and sell side to see what's happening in the other side of the world. And these kind of events puts, ticks, I would say, dots the I's across the T's and enables ones out here to get a better understanding of the market in Asia Pacific.
So in the Chinese high yield bond market space, it's really a more bottom-up story. We have to dig a bit deeper to look for opportunities case by case.
But it's that valuation point where you always have to come back to what is your in price and what's been discounted, because that will determine what your IRR is going to be over that investment period.
And what we've seen over the last couple of years, actually straddling 5 years, is that in Europe, which is the biggest region that has the most exposure to these kinds of funds, there's been outflows, right?
An investor starts to look at the ESG factors into the decision making, something what has happened to China where investors are cautious about investing in companies or even countries or in the country.
But we would also note that over long periods of time, GDP does not correlate with markets, and that markets perform on the basis of improving earnings trends and ROEs and various other things at equity markets.
I thought it was a really successful event. I think it's incumbent upon Deutsche Bank as a provider of security services and a responsible global bank to make sure that we do lead the way in market advocacy, to make sure that we are showing the light on our footprint markets and to bring out the investors to that footprint. I think it's great to bring so much of the ecosystem together. We had asset managers, insurance companies here, big investors, as well as brokers, ESG, specialist funds. It was a very big ecosystem, as well as obviously the global custodians and market infrastructure.
And once you get a T+0, there is a next step that is also under consideration, which is to go towards what is called as atomic settlement, instantaneous settlement, right? It always feels great to be in London, 7th year in a row, which we are doing with the Asset, meeting all the investment managers and people in our world, sharing interactions, sharing thoughts on how the future will behold. It's always exciting, and today was no better. In fact, I think one of the best sessions we've had in recent times.
I think it's the weakest link that dictates what you can do from an interoperability point of view. And so you need to adapt to each and every ecosystem to try to bring something together.
I think we covered quite a number of topics. Regulation was one of them that was quite outstanding, I believe. There is a sustainability, which is maybe more important in Asia than I thought. So these are maybe the two that I would remember.
I think the choice of our sub-custodians is so important in making that decision and future-proofing State Street within that region, which is so important to our client base.
Well, I really enjoyed today's event. This is the second time I've been to one of these, but actually I thought it was really the most insightful. The talk from the economists and the insight from the portfolio investors was really second to none, and it really shows the importance of the region, but in particular China and India, and some of the rebalances that have happened recently in terms of the MSCI rebalance in favour of India, and the inclusion of India in the JP Morgan index really shows the interest from our investors in this region and how we have to think about servicing them